and Consumer Protection, and we'll now come to order. Today's date is Tuesday, February 12th, 2019. A quorum is present. And members, today we have Senate File 761 on the agenda. Senate File 761 is a proposed extension of the Minnesota Premium Security Plan, the state-based reinsurance plan for the individual health insurance market in Minnesota. Senator Dahms is the author of Senate File 761. Senator Dahms, would you like to make a motion to bring Senate File 761 before the committee today?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that Senate File 761 be brought before the committee for to be moved and passed and then referred to the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Senator Dahms. We now have the bill before us, and I believe there's an author's amendment. Senator Dahms, would you like to move your author's amendment?
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the A1 author's amendment, and I believe there's a copy of that in your packets. In the A1 author's amendment, it changes it on the last paragraph of the bill, takes it away from MMB and puts it back into the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association to be managed through the security plan through the benefit year of 2022.
Members, Senator Dahms has moved the A1 amendment. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment is passed. Senator Dahms, to your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate File 761 is a bill that extends the Minnesota Premium Security Plan. When we originally put this in effect in 2017, on our waiver, we requested a 5-year waiver. The original plan was for 2 years, so this bill extends it through the balance of the 5 years, so it added another 3 years to the extension of the Minnesota Premium Security Plan. Also, this bill changes some of the reporting. It does increase the reporting that we go through during the process. I feel that that's going to give the legislative body a little more information during the plan year. Also, it's going to give the Minnesota Comprehensive Health some more information, and it lays out the parameters and also gives the general public more information as we're going through the process once the reinsurance plan is reinstated. And then they also, you heard the A1 amendment. So basically, we're taking the reinsurance plan that was put into effect in 2017 for the 2018-19 year, and we're extending that through the extension of the waiver, or the balance of the waiver, which would be 3 more years, so it'd be 2021 and 22. And at this point, I would like to have our testifiers come forward.
Excuse me. Thank you, Senator Dahms. On the list, we have Catherine Commit with the Minnesota Council of Health Plans. Then Marie Bell and Bob Steen are next up, so if you would get ready to follow suit as soon as Ms. Commit is completed. Welcome to the testifiers table, and please state your name for the record and continue when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Catherine Commit. I represent the Minnesota Council of Health Plans. The Council is the trade association that represents Minnesota's 7 nonprofit health plans. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify today. The Council strongly supports Senate File 761 as amended. Minnesota's reinsurance program was created to lower premiums for people buying insurance on their own by paying a portion of the high medical bills, a cost that otherwise must be built into the premiums. Thank you for your help on this legislation 2 years ago. The program has been a resounding success. According to the Minnesota Department of Commerce, the reinsurance program has resulted in lowering premiums on average by 20% in calendar year 2018 and 20% again in calendar year 2019. The fact is, Minnesota's state reinsurance program has worked. For people who purchase coverage on their own through the individual market, the reinsurance program has made a real difference in helping them to continue to afford coverage. Everyone in the individual market, everyone, has benefited from lower health insurance premiums as a result of this reinsurance program. As Senator Dahms said, the state reinsurance program was enacted in 2017 and approved for only 2 years. This bill extends the state reinsurance program for the full 5 years of the federal waiver through calendar year 2022. Passage of this bill will help keep the individual insurance market stable. In turn, that will help more people to be able to buy health insurance. Based on preliminary numbers for calendar year 2018, we anticipate you will not have to appropriate more money to extend the program. There will be leftover state reinsurance funds that can be used. Therefore, we strongly recommend using these leftover funds for their original purpose and extend the state reinsurance program across the remaining 3 years of the federal waiver. Again, this bill does not appropriate or use any new state money, but it does enable Minnesota to access additional federal dollars to stabilize the market for 2020, 2021, and 2022. By extending the leftover funds for the remainder of the federal waiver, the state can draw down federal funding. It is appropriate for Minnesota to leverage these federal dollars. For all of this to help your constituents, passage of this legislation is needed quickly. Minnesota law requires health plans to file products and rates soon for calendar year 2020. In fact, proposed rates will be submitted to the Department of Commerce in about 6 to 7 weeks or so. Without reinsurance, rates will be set higher to pay all the medical bills. Extending the state reinsurance program can act as a bridge to give the legislature and the Walz administration time to prepare for the next phase of healthcare reform. We have a tradition in Minnesota as an innovator, and reinsurance is the latest example, with our approach being copied in other states. Hopefully, with more time, we can work together to develop new recommendations for Minnesotans on how to make health insurance coverage affordable and accessible for more people. Extending the reinsurance program helps to keep the individual market stable for the next several years without additional budget impact. This is important so Minnesotans can continue to afford buying insurance on their own. It doesn't solve the critical problem of increasingly expensive health care, however, but it does provide some stability and certainty for people looking to get coverage on their own. We urge your support for the bill. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think we're going to take and hold all of our questions until we've got through all of our testifiers, and then we may call you back up at that point. But we'll go on to, looks like we've got Bob Steen and Marie Bell both coming. So whoever's going to go first, please state your name for the record and continue with your testimony. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, committee members, good morning. My name is Marie Bell. I'm an independent agent in the insurance industry. I am the current president of the Minnesota Association of Health Underwriters. We represent health insurance brokers and agents across the state.
Mr. Chair, committee members, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Bob Stein, and I am an independent insurance agent serving the individual and small employer customers in the Twin Cities Metro and the state. We're here today to representing the Agents Coalition, which includes 4 professional associations in Minnesota, including Minnesota Association of Health Underwriters, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, Professional Insurance Agents, and Independent Insurance Agents. Collectively, we represent over 54,000 licensed insurance agents in Minnesota and their employees. As such, we work closely with both group and individual market and small group market and consumers on a daily basis. The individual marketplace is not only where individuals and families get coverage when they do not have access to employer-sponsored coverage. It is where entrepreneurs get their coverage when they start a new business, and is also relied upon by individuals between jobs and early retirees.
Due to problems with how the Affordable Care Act was impacted the individual market, carriers were leaving the individual market and consumers were getting headline-making premium increases. We supported the creation of this plan 2 years ago, and we're here to report back to you today that the premium security plan that you passed in 2017 is working. According to the Minnesota Department of Commerce, this plan resulted in premiums being 20% lower in 2018 than without the plan, and additionally, premiums dropped up to 27% for 2019. After several years of enormous price increases, policyholders clearly appreciate the impact of the program, even those who are not aware of exactly how it works.
It is important to note that the way the program works, not one dime goes to the bottom line of the insurance companies who participate. They must show actual claim data, and they are reimbursed only for qualifying claims. That means the money does not go to the overhead or for profits or anything other than claims. The insurance carriers filed their rates for 2018 not knowing if the reinsurance plan would be in place or not. So they filed with and without the assumption that the plan would be in place and approved by the federal government. The results from the Department of Commerce filings clearly show that your investment went directly to consumer benefits in the form of lower rates. We strongly urge you to support Senator Dahms' Senate File 761.
Thank you for your testimony. Next up, we have Bentley Graves. Welcome to our committee. Please state your name for the record and continue with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Bentley Graves. I'm with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. And as most of you know, but I'll remind you, Minnesota Chamber of Commerce represents 2,300 member businesses across the state in every industry, in every corner of the state, from large Fortune 500 companies to small mom and pops. You know, a lot of folks kind of wonder what interest the business community has in a stabilization mechanism for the individual insurance market, given that most employers purchase insurance or provide insurance through the group market. But increasingly, the individual market is an important outlet for very small employers, where they and their employees can find options for coverage. But it's also an important place where entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals go. You know, I'd hope to be joined here today by a member of our board, Ingrid Christensen, who owns a translation services company, who has 7 employees, and who herself purchases in the individual market, but also who helps her employees purchase in the individual market. And her goal today was to share with you the positive impact that reinsurance had on her ability to provide for herself and her son, and also for her employees and their families. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it today given the weather, but I wanted to bring her story forward to again impress upon you all just the important role that the individual market plays in the stability of the broader commercial market, but also as an important outlet for Minnesota employers and for their employees. The reinsurance programs, as you've heard from previous testifiers, is done exactly as it was hoped to do. It's brought down rates, and we hope that you can support the extension through the remainder of the federal authority, so we continue to see stability in the individual market, and that those plan options can continue to be available for those Minnesota employers and their employees that rely upon them. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Again, we will hold all questions until we've made it through the list of testifiers, so we may get you back up here again. Thank you. Next to testify will be Mike Hickey, and welcome to our committee, and please identify yourself and continue with your testimony when you're ready.
Well, thanks, Mr. Stand-in Chairman, and hello, Mr. Chairman. Want to thank Senator Dahms for stepping up and authoring this. Mike Hickey with the National Federation of Independent Business. I want to thank you for stepping up and authoring this bill again. This was a critical bill for those of you who weren't around in 2017, or was everybody here? I can't remember, but it was absolute critical bill. I think you're all here. To save our individual health insurance market. We're absolutely in crisis at the time, so appreciate your efforts on that, and we strongly support continuing this program. It was the choice we made to go down this road. There were some other options, but I think it was pointed out by Ms. Commit, it's worked very well. We have definitely turned the market around, and people are receiving significant reductions on average, which is encouraging. Although, as you know, from the many calls you've received and emails from your members, people have been through a lot of pain in this market. And we had a member who wanted to come in today and describe some of that pain for you with the huge increases. I think he estimated his premiums since the beginning of Obamacare's implementation have gone up well over 100%. Opting for a high deductible he didn't want, and many people don't want, which renders their insurance virtually worthless unless they have a catastrophic illness. And so there's been a lot of pain here, but this bill and continuing this program continuing this program is very important. We've also seen a trend with our membership due to NFIB's internal surveying that right now we have more members in the individual market than in a group market. I think all the negative fallout from Obamacare has played a role in that, but I was kind of shocked to see that. That wasn't the case years ago, and so there's a lot of small business owners now who are in this market, and they've walked away from group insurance, but obviously still having a tough time in this market with the large rate increases, people having to opt for deductibles at high levels that they don't want. So strongly urge you to continue this program. We have a federal match. Let's go along with it and continue this program for 3 years, and I think we're making a lot of progress in providing people some relief.
Thank you, Mr. Hickey. Next up, I show Amanda Otero. Welcome to our committee. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, so please identify yourself and continue with your testimony when you're ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Amanda Otero, and I'm here today on behalf of Take Action Minnesota. We're a grassroots organization representing 55,000 individual Minnesotans in every county in the state and 22 organizational members. We advocate for racial, gender, and economic justice at the local, state, and federal level. I'm here today to raise our concerns about this bill. I just came over here from our press conference on healthcare affordability, where we released the results of a poll by Alterum's Healthcare Value Hub that found that 47% of Minnesotans struggled to afford high healthcare costs this past year. That's almost half of us who reported struggles, including going uninsured, delaying or foregoing care, or going into debt or skipping other bills to pay for care. While I understand that this bill is an attempt to respond to these needs, this is the situation facing Minnesotans now with reinsurance. Reinsurance has given a lot of state dollars directly to plans and has only resulted in lower than they might have been premiums for a very small number of people, most of whom are still in a very high deductible plan. Here's what life with reinsurance looks like for some Minnesotans. A 50-year-old couple in Rochester with a 17-year-old child earning $85,000 a year doesn't qualify for a tax credit as they're just over the 400% FPL limit. With reinsurance, the cheapest qualified health plan that they can buy with less than an $11,000 deductible is $1,737 per month with a $4,400 deductible. The cheapest plan they can buy, period, is $1,485 per month with a $13,700 deductible. 20% more in premiums might break the bank, but what are the chances that it's not already broken for this family? We need to do more than keep the price of the premium this low. This example, and countless others like it, beg the question. For the amount of relief that we're giving insurance companies, are we getting enough relief for Minnesotans? The premise behind this bill is that we can't afford not to do this. We're wondering if we can afford to do this. Long-term solutions include a Minnesota Care buy-in, but in the short term, we need a solution that makes the health care we've got actually affordable for Minnesotans to use. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Otero. Next up, we have Laura Sales. Welcome to our committee. Please identify yourself and continue when you're ready.
Hi, my name is Laura Sales, and I'm a lobbyist for the Minnesota Nurses Association. We are a labor union of about 22,000 bedside nurses that live and work all over Minnesota and parts of Iowa and Wisconsin. We are here to testify in opposition to Senate File 761, a bill that would extend the funding for the Minnesota Premium Security Plan. M&A was opposed to the Minnesota Premium Security Plan when it first passed. In 2017, we asked the legislature to carefully consider if reinsurance was the right approach to addressing rising premiums and deductibles and shrinking provider networks. Again, from 2017, our view was that while some are wary of government involvement in healthcare, reinsurance is a major government program. This reinsurance program was designed for the state to pay health companies for high-cost claims, but in return, there was no guarantee the insurance companies would offer affordable premiums, reasonable deductibles, and comprehensive provider networks. The state was proposing to spend up to $548 million to prop up a market made up of about 4% of Minnesotans who purchase individual coverage for themselves and their families. We support the intent to help those people, but we would have preferred to do it in a sustainable way, not this expensive effort to get them into insurance they might not be able to afford to use. In 2018, the early impacts of the reinsurance program were seen when the 2019 rates for the individual markets were released. In the individual market, rates were slated to decrease, but we wonder whether that's an actual decrease or a smaller increase than anticipated if the reinsurance program were not in place. According to the information released by the Department of Commerce, these were average changes, and the actual rate change that a consumer would experience in 2019 could vary depending on factors, the specific plan, geographic rating area, and age. In addition, reinsurance was only one of the factors health plans cited in this average rate decrease. The other factors included a higher percentage of healthy, less costly enrollees in the recent past, resulting in lower utilization of medical services and prescription drugs, and lower federal taxes and assessments than required in previous years. Fast forward to 2019, where we have Senate File 761 that extends the reinsurance program by 3 more years at no cost to the state. It also adds some more reporting requirements than what was required in 2017. But our objections remain the same in 2019 as they were in 2017. Reinsurance is not a game changer in the broader push to control healthcare spending. The reinsurance program does nothing to reduce the cost of care. Instead, it artificially reduces the cost of premiums. Once the program goes away, there is nothing that will keep the cost of premiums from going up. While reinsurance has shifted the burden of paying some of the bills to the state government, the program has done nothing to tackle the increasing costs of hospital and physician care or prescription drugs, and it has reduced the federal assistance available to Minnesotans in private plans and to Minnesota Care. For those reasons, we oppose Senate File 761 and extending the reinsurance program beyond what is already in statute. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sales. Members, that completes our list of testifiers. At this time, I would open it up to questions for either Senator Dahms or any of our testifiers who have been before us. Senator Hayden.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Dahms, for bringing this bill for our review and discussion. Senator Dahms, as I kind of read your bill, looks like we're extending this out to 2024?
2022.
Or 2022. Okay, I was trying to catch the amendment. I got here a tad bit late. Senator Dahms, do you think we should extend or repeal the sunset of the provider tax?
Senator Dahms.
And I'm not going to get into that discussion today. This is about this part of it. So at this point, I'm not going to get into that discussion in my opinion on that.
Follow up, Senator Hayden.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Dahms. And the reason why I asked that question was they kind of work together. So if we kind of drain and we just go through this process of draining the funds that we have, and we have no foreseeable plan for the future to change health care, then, and we don't, and we allow the provider tax to sunset, I don't know how we pay for this, and I don't know how we pay for not only to buy down health insurance for those that are in the individual market, but then how do we, as a broader process, pay for health insurance for low-income, hardworking Minnesotans?
Senator Dahms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator Hayden. This bill, we're not asking for new dollars. We're just going to take the dollars we have in the bill, and right now it's projected they should go through for the next 2 years. Also, the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association has the authority. If we get short of money, they have the authority to change the parameters of the opt-in and the opt-out on the reinsurance. So we're not asking for new dollars here. So the dollars have already been committed. So we're not asking for new dollars. So on that premises, that's probably not going to be an issue.
Follow up, Senator Hayden.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Dahms, and I understand the technicalities of this bill. I think part of the problem, and maybe this is more of a statement, and I'll allow some of my other colleagues if they have some questions, they all work together. So even though, Senator Dahms, you're just bringing this portion that handles this particular issue, we work in a healthcare ecosystem that is dependent upon each other in order to work. So if we don't repeal the sunset of the provider tax, then that's a $700 million hole per year that we don't have to pay for healthcare. It then allows us to start to figure out how to either provide the services that we've committed to for low-income, hardworking Minnesotans, and either take that out of the general fund, or we change and we don't work with them. And at the same token, we then drain down the dollars that we need to have, not being able to replenish them for this particular group of people. And we don't have any real discussion today other than what we had a couple of years ago on what we're actually going to do in order to help folks that are on the individual market. So once again, Senator Dahms, I'm not going to support the bill because I don't think that it's the right conversation, and I think that we're parsing them off, and we're doing often what we do around here is we silo off issues that actually should be talked about together. And we'll have another discussion on this in the Health and Human Service Committee if this bill gets there, but I think that this is an important conversation to have.
Thank you, Senator Hayden.
Thank you. Senator Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Dahms. So if I just can clarify this insurance thing we're dealing with here, reinsurance, in my experience, and you're more of the expert than I am, this will help reduce health insurance costs across the board by keeping people in the market and thereby spreading the risk and further reducing the cost. Is that correct? And that's the point of reinsurance, right? To take out some of that risk, make sure those people with pre-existing conditions that have other health conditions are covered. So is that the general idea, right?
That is the general
Senator
idea, and I
Dahms.
think we can look back in 2015, there was 66,000 people in the individual market. And that's when the premium started to blow apart. And then in 2016, that number went down to 200 and some thousand in the individual market. And that market has been declining. But when that market declines, usually what's happening is that the healthier sector is leaving the marketplace. We are down now to, I think last year we had 166,000 in the individual market. So what happens is you have the cost of the cost of the medical care was given to about 1,866 people that actually got into the reinsurance portion of it. And those people are going to be in the reinsurance pool for some time. They're not going to drop their insurance. So as the number of players the number of people in the pool comes down, the cost goes up per person in the reinsurance market. So the purpose of the reinsurance is to keep these insurance companies somewhat whole, to try to keep their premiums down. Because as your market gets less and less healthy people, the cost of the coverage goes up. And that's the purpose of the reinsurance, is to reduce the cost of insurance, to make the market whole, and to try to keep the healthier people in it. And one of the ways to do that is keep that cost down.
Just one follow-up.
Follow-up, Senator Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator Dahms. So perhaps this is not a perfect answer in an imperfect world, but it would seem to me that the trend would be you keep the healthy people in, you continue to, maybe you attract more people to that pool, further reducing costs in the long run, not just for the private market, but for the market overall, the insurance market overall. So I understand. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Wickland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for bringing the bill forward and for the discussion today. I guess my first question is, what information do you have or do we have that tells us that, or that leads us to believe that the funds that were provided initially will be enough to cover the 2020, 2021, and 2022 plan years that you're indicating will be covered?
Senator Dahms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Wickland, that's a very good question. The first 3 quarters of the year, we have so far spent $84 million, just a hair over $84 million. Now, we need to understand that the first 3 quarters would be not as heavily loaded as the fourth quarter. because if you're having some occurrences medically, once you hit the $50,000 point, then you go into your bills would go into reinsurance, and the state would pay 80% of that. So you have the first 3 quarters to build up to maybe getting into the $50,000 entry point. So the assumption is in the fourth quarter, we're going to have more people coming into reinsurance, so it's going to be heavier loaded in the fourth quarter. But the numbers that are being projected would be somewhere that the total cost for the year will be between $130 and $150 million. So if it's take the max 150, throw another 10 maybe on, say 160 million, and we have the 271 million plus the money that came back from the federal, that's where the additional dollars are going to come from.
Okay.
Senator Wickland?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then you mentioned to Senator Hayden's question, you mentioned that there was a mechanism in if there is insufficient funding that can be used. Can you just explain that a little bit further?
Yes.
Senator Dahms.
Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association, which is the group that manages the reinsurance. In the 2017 bill, there is a clause that if we become short of money, that they can change that parameter as to what the reinsurance on and off ramps would be.
So,
follow up, Senator Wickland.
Mr. Chair, so like the 50,000 to 250,000?
That could be changed.
Ranged, or
that could be changed. Maybe they raise the on ramp to 100 or reduce the off ramp to 200. I mean, that could be changed. And I'm not just sure of the technicalities of it. I would have to ask Chris if he could get into the technicalities of that as far as how that can be done.
Senator Wickland, would you like to have further information?
Would you confirm that that's kind of the basic parameters that could be changed?
Mr. Chair, Senator Wickland, I think he essentially described it correctly. The attachment point is 50, and the reinsurance cap is 250. So those could be modified. There's also the co-insurance rate, which is the amount the state pays between those two numbers. And I believe now it is 80%.
Correct.
That can also be reduced to 50, or anywhere between 80 and 50. So there's 3 numbers that can be adjusted or modified by MCHA to respond to shortfalls in the premium account.
Okay.
Senator Wickland.
I guess my comment would be I hope that we're proactive in terms of doing analysis on what the options, the best options would be going forward. And I see that you have additional reporting that's going to be required on an annual basis. And I hope that that's part of it is analysis of, whether we'll need to use any additional or any different parameters that we'll have an opportunity to talk about those. And then I don't know that I need a response. Another question area, it was mentioned by Ms. Kmitt that this proposal, while it helps us stabilize the market, it isn't addressing, healthcare costs that lead to the, insurance premiums needing to be what they are. I guess I'm wondering if you've thought about whether we need more consumer-type accountability measures in our program. I think when the program was first implemented, we had to make a decision about stabilizing the market in a short time frame. There wasn't a lot of discussion about, how can we make sure that this is best for consumers. But now, if we're going to extend it 3 more years, it just seems like we should have more information about whether the money that the state is putting into this, that has been put into it, is actually going to, an efficient and helpful mechanism. Have you thought about whether we could be adopting some more consumer-focused accountability measures now that we're planning to extend the program? It's not just a short-term kind of stopgap measure.
Senator Dahms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator Wickland, yes, I think that you're going to be seeing, I think that you're going to be seeing some reform bills, I think you're going to see some reform bills coming through that deal with providers in that part of it. As far as the reinsurance, we won't know the final numbers until the 1st of August as to what the fourth quarter really was. But at that point in time, then we can do an assessment and see how that looks. And I think with the accountability we have, we hear a lot about this is just a payment to the insurance companies. Well, I think that some of the testimony we heard was very factual, that it is very well tracked, and that this is not a padding of the insurance companies. This is directly reducing the cost of the insurance. So I think that's pretty well covered, and I think in August, when we start seeing those numbers and with the new reporting requirements we have, I think that part of it is covered. When it comes to consumer things and trying to drive the cost of care down, I believe that we'll be seeing some reforms coming forward this session dealing with that part of it. And I think those are two separate vehicles, and I don't think that we should be putting in provider reforms in the reinsurance, because they're two separate paths that we're going to be taking.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a comment that I think this program, I guess, to me, it seems like if we are going to move forward with it in a longer term fashion, we should be really sure that we're addressing multiple things and looking at healthcare costs and, you know, is this money going to an effective use? So I guess I understand that we are going to talk about other bills that have to do with price transparency, things like that, that could impact it. I just think that given this program is, well, it's costing the state, you know, significant amounts of money, and we should be aware and understanding how it's benefiting our overall health insurance and health care systems in Minnesota. So.
Thank you, Senator Wickland.
Thank you. Members, any additional comments or questions? Senator Latz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Senator Wickland's line of questioning. I don't know how, and Senator Hayden's, I don't know how you separate these out. I mean, we were under the gun a couple of years ago, but we're not under the gun now. We've had a good year and a half to try to figure out what else to do to try to mitigate the premium increases besides a reinsurance program. And I'm not opposed in concept to a reinsurance program. I think there are some risks in the market that you know, maybe it's not fair to spread out in the market, that it's more fair for the taxpayers to help mitigate. And we've had programs for decades that have done that in one way or another to pull some of the highest cost cases out of the market. But to do this in isolation, I think, is a mistake. And the only way that we're going to be able to sort of create the pressure to do it together is going to be to resist letting this just fly through on its own. And on the hope and a prayer or a promise that some other bills involving reform might someday come before this committee or be introduced. I mean, we've had a long time to talk about them, and I don't know where they are right now. We talked about them when this original program was up before, and we were told we don't have time to deal with that spring. We got to get this through because the market's going crazy. Well, we've had time to talk about it now, and we could have been dealing with this last session, and we could have been dealing with it already this session as well. There should have been something done in the interim. Do we have any information on what the governor's position is on this bill? Does anyone
Senator Dahms, do you have that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Senator Latz. I do not have any idea where the governor's position is. I did talk to the Commissioner of Commerce, and he had not had a chance to visit with the governor, so he was unable to give us any information, so that's where that was. I can tell you that this is the House's bill. This came over from Representative Halverson. This is the bill she's carrying over in the House, with the difference of the author's amendment, changing it from MMB back to MC, Minnesota Comprehensive Health. This is the House's bill. So I don't know where that's going to go over there, but I know this is a bill that Representative Halverson's moving over in the House. So it's bipartisan from that standpoint. And like I said, we did talk to Commissioner Calley, and he didn't have, he was unable to comment on it because he didn't know where the governor would want to go.
All right. Thank you.
Follow up, Senator Latz? You're done? Okay. Members, anything further? Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Senator Dahms, for bringing this forward. It seems like the program has worked better than we expected it to in 2017, and allowing us to extend it for more than twice the period that we had originally planned when we funded it. I don't know if I have a question so much as maybe a couple of comments. I remember sitting in this committee in 2013 when we were debating MNsure, and the idea that eliminating the MCHA would, in fact, increase the premiums, just as we saw in 2015 and 16. And unfortunately, it was the ACA that required us to get rid of MCHA, and we are still being governed by many of those federal requirements that quite honestly limit our ability and our options for addressing rising premium costs. But you know, I think what I want to say about that, and maybe just kind of get on the record, is that neither the ACA or MNsure were designed, and Senator Dahms, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but neither MNsure or the ACA were designed to reduce health care costs. They were designed to manipulate and modify the insurance market. And as we talk about, you know, Minnesota Care buy-in, again, we're not talking about reducing the cost of health care. We're talking about modifying or changing how health care is paid for, and there's no structural change in that. Now, I do know, having sat on Senator Jensen's health care cost and cost containment and access subcommittee, that we did talk about real options for that, for reducing it. And I know Senator Draheim and Senator Jensen have a number of bills to actually reduce the cost of health care, Senator Wicklund. And so, you know, it seems to me that after spending probably, what was 170 some million on MNsure, that this, you know, this is a program that has far exceeded, and as was stated, is being used as a model by other states now to help contain the cost of health care and insurance premiums due to the ACA. And I just want to, you know, give a quick story myself. I was called last fall by one of my constituents who was very upset. He's mildly disabled, but works a job where he was able to pay his health care insurance premiums on his own. The costs have spiraled out of control to the point where he's no longer self-sufficient. And quite honestly, MNsure was trying to force him into getting into a public program, and he was very proud and didn't want to be on a public program. I hope this allows him to remain self-sufficient, Senator Dahms, and so thank you for bringing it. And you feel free to correct me if any of my facts are wrong.
Thank you.
Senator Dahms, any comments on?
No, not.
Okay.
That's just, you know, when we talk about where we were before the Affordable Care Act, we did have the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association's plan. And we were probably one of the few states that covered people with pre-existing conditions. And if you didn't qualify through the regular insurance channel, you could go on to the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association's plan, and there was a premium markup. You could mark the premium up to 25%. So, and then what would happen is the companies would take the people in the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association, they would take those people into their policies, and it was based on the percentage of the market that each company had as far as how many policies it would take. It worked very well. And then the ACA came along and blew that all up, and now we're where we're at in 2015, 2016, and now we're still trying to fight that wave off and still trying to keep insurance rates somewhat in check. I think the average person in Minnesota, I think their average health care cost as far as what it costs the average for the provider, the services they receive, is like $11,200 or $11,300. So yes, insurance is very high, very expensive, but when you start taking a family of four and looking at what the actual cost is, you know, the rates are very, you know, the rates are up there, but then there's a lot of costs that are being used. So it's a tough one, but reinsurance has worked very well. It's come in much cheaper than what we thought it would. It's worked very well. It's spread the risk, and it's kept the individual market, kept that as a viable option. And so we talk a lot about Minnesota Care buy-in for all. Well, if we can reduce the premiums by 15%, that's not going to make, I mean, it's going to help, but 15%, if you're paying, as the one lady stated, somebody was paying $1,700 a month, is 15% going to make that an affordable policy? The point of this is that we have to work various angles. We have to look at the cost of insurance, but we also have to look at reforming the cost of the procedures that we have in Minnesota. We're a very high-cost state when it comes to medical procedures, as well as health insurance, and they go hand in hand. So with that said,
Senator Dahms, I'm going to jump in here because I was kind of going if you were going to comment on Senator Pratt's comments, but I did have Senator Hayden that had one more question, and then we'll let you do the wrap-up.
Sure.
And renew your motion.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and Senator Dahms. It's more of a bit of a statement, and I won't belabor this, but I do say for the record, the characterization that Senator Pratt said that this was a opportunity to manipulate the insurance markets, I just reject that wholesale. And Senator Pratt, if I got that wrong, I'm sure you'll correct me. The ACA allowed people to get health insurance. The expansion of Medicaid brought uninsured rates around this country and across the state down. It allowed everybody to be able to access health care no matter what your income status was. The MCHA program that we so affectionately romanticize here was a program that cost people a lot of money. It cost us a lot of money to subsidize it, and it cost the people who had pre-existing conditions. That was the program that insurance companies said, nope, you got a pre-existing condition, you have something that we think costs too much to cover, so we're not going to accept you. And then you had to go into this program, pay higher premiums, have a higher deductible, get it subsidized by the state, and we think that was, and we romanticize that as that was a great thing. What happened was when the ACA came, and I was here and a lot of us were here, it became an ideological issue as much as anything else. We didn't have bipartisan on either side a way for us to work this out and to make this better. There was one group that wanted it and one group that didn't, and that's how this process set up. So the work that we're doing here, though we got to do it, though we're in this situation, is a byproduct of the lack of cooperation. And I just want to reject wholesale the notion that the ACA was not a program that looked at. It had preventative measures in it. It had places in which healthcare organizations, hospitals, and others were incentivized to keep people healthy, as opposed to just continue to make and keep them sick and continue to do procedure after procedure in a way that's the way that they got their compensation. And it also, the biggest thing that it did, and I don't want it to miss it regardless to all of the things that we hear and see, is it gave more people access to affordable health care. So how that played out, and we can parse words, and I'm more than willing to listen to that, but I wanted to make sure that we really understood its intention and what it was doing, and if it worked exactly like we wanted, or if there was a piece of the market that we needed to fix, over 400 population or 2 to 4. If that didn't work for it, that's what we're trying to fix here today. And the last thing I will say is MNsure was just a portal. It was just a place that you go into to try to figure out what was best for you. And the troubles we had was we had problems with the portal, right? And sometimes we get mixed up as MNsure actually being the product. MNsure was the portal that was supposed to offer us products that worked for our families.
Thank you. And Senator Pratt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Senator Hayden, and it was probably a poor choice of words to say manipulate. The point that I was trying to make was that, and quite honestly, while MNsure was a system, the MNsure bill that we passed did much more
than create a system, and really was the vehicle for changing how healthcare is financed. And it did really nothing to reduce the cost of healthcare. It just changed how healthcare was financed. To your point, when my first year in the legislature, I went to the chief author of the bill and I presented some concerns and offered to work on it, and I was told that no, the bill was going to go through as it was going to go through. And so I don't think it started off as a partisan effort. I think it became a partisan effort because of how the committee structure and different things. In fact, when I offered an amendment that one of your members thought was a good amendment, later came up to me and said, well, I was told that the bill had to go through unchanged. So, I think it ended up being partisan on both sides of the aisle. But again, the point being that when we took up the MNsure bill and modified the entire health insurance market back in 2013, we had roughly 6 to 7% of our population uninsured. From the data that I saw today in Ms. Committ's document, we still have 6% of our population uninsured. And so we haven't made the strides. I don't know, you've been on the MNsure board. Many of the people that have signed up for MNsure or through the MNsure system already had qualified for public programs before. Now, I really don't want to get into a tit for tat debate on this with you here. I think this is really a good bill that keeps a program going that has been less expensive than we anticipated, has actually lowered the cost of health insurance premiums for real Minnesotans, and like my constituent, has allowed him to remain self-sufficient rather than being on a government program, and he's happy about that. And I guess that's the point that I was trying to make.
Senator Dahms, we're going to pass it to you for final comment and let you renew your motion because I see no further questions from this side.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to respond to Senator Hayden's comments. First of all, on the Minnesota Comprehensive Health Association, there were an option on deductibles, and you made it sound like you had to get a massively high deductible. That's incorrect. I sold many, many policies in that program, and you did not have to get real high deductibles. Also, the Affordable Care Act, yes, it was laid out to do many things. I understand that. But we also have to face reality that premiums did not go down 40% like we were told they would. You were not able to keep your doctors. There's a lot of things like that that we need to take into account, but that's not part of today's discussion. Today's discussion is to try to help move the individual market forward, and I believe that this is a good product that's worked well the last couple of years, and I think it'll work well in the next couple of years. And with that said, Mr. Chair, I move that Senate File 761 be moved, passed, and referred to the Committee on Finances.
Thank you, Senator Dahms. Senator Dahms renews his motion to pass Senate File 761 as amended with recommendation to pass to the Finance Committee. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Motion passes. Members, this concludes the business in front of the Senate Commerce and Consumer Protection Committee today. We are now adjourned.